What is up, gamers? It is Friday, and that means it's time for another top 5 list. This time around, I've been thinking about zombie games. There's been some good ones over the years, and while I'm starting to get sick of zombies or zombie mode being shoved into so many games, it doesn't mean we can't look back and remember the good games. So here we go.
5.
Let's start off with DayZ. Now, as many of you know, DayZ is a mod of Arma 2, a game that originally had nothing to do with zombies, but one ingenious modder saw the potential for zombies, and he created one of the most intense, hardcore zombie survival games out there. Add into that the fact that it's completely open world and that it's multiplayer, and you've got a recipe for one badass zombie game. The only question is, do you team up with that survivor that you met in the old burned out building, or do you kill him for his shiny gun? I think you know what route I would go. I do like the shiny.
4.
And number 4 on the list is a retro zombie adventure that I fell in love with growing up. I'm talking, of course, about Zombies Ate My Neighbors. The formula is simple. 2 kids with water guns, a bunch of clueless neighbors, and a whole lot of zombies. Granted, there were plenty of other bad guys running around this 16-bit adventure, but the zombies were the glue that held it together. The marshmallow in the s'more, if you will. This game was a ton of fun to play with a friend, and the wacky weapons, enemies, and civilians made this game stand out in my childhood. Hell, every now and then I still fire up my ancient SNES and play some Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
3.
Moving on, I really enjoyed my time with Dead Rising 2. Any game that starts with the protagonist cutting down zombies using a chainsaw attached to a dirt bike has to be good. Dead Rising really understands what a zombie game is all about. Killing zombies in the most brutal and creative ways possible. Making a lawnmower wheelchair zombie wood chipper, boxing glove Wolverine claws, or a good old-fashioned spike bat are just some of the ways you can take out zombies in Dead Rising 2. And for added hilarity, you can put giant stuffed animals on them before you kill them. Dead Rising 2 really allowed players to be the sick bastards that they are, and because they're zombies, we don't even have to feel bad about the horrible things we do to them.
2.
Next on the list is Left 4 Dead. I'm just grouping 1 and 2 together because they're both great. It's a fantastic approach to a zombie game. You've got 4 players working together against hordes of bloodthirsty infected, and you've got special zombies that can trap you and leave you helpless until a friend comes to save you. Left 4 Dead forces you to cooperate with your teammates, because if you leave them for dead, there will be no one to save you when that hunter pounces on you later in the level, or that smoker starts choking you to death. And then they've got the versus mode, where you can actually be those special infected and cause all sorts of misery for players just trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. Jockeying a player off a ledge or into a spitter's acid is just good old-fashioned fun, and we all owe a big thank you to Left 4 Dead for creating such an awesome zombie game.
1.
And my personal favorite zombie game is kind of a franchise instead of a game. I gotta say Resident Evil. I just couldn't pick one game from this franchise. It's too difficult. You've got the original Resident Evil, which terrified me as a kid. I mean, if we're talking about sheer horror, that is the game that produced my first nightmares from a video game. The way those zombie dogs chased you through the forest, and the first zombie you see, how he turns around in that cutscene and then shambles down the hall after you, I'd never seen anything like it. And then you've got Resident Evil 2, it was just such a sprawling, awesome game, exploring the whole precinct, fighting lickers and solving puzzles. It was a ton of fun. And then Resident Evil 5 had the boss fight with the chainsaw-wielding baghead zombie. It was awesome. I love that they made him a one-hit kill boss. A lot of developers don't do the one-hit kill boss these days, but when a maniac slices into you with a chainsaw, that's a freaking one-hit kill. Thank you, Resident Evil, for keeping it real. Well, that's my list of current zombie favorites, although I have a feeling that Naughty Dog's The Last of Us may soon be vying for a spot on that list. Although technically the enemies in that game have been taken over by some sort of fungus, so I'm not even really sure they classify as zombies anymore if they're like fungombies or something. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have your own favorite zombie games, so go ahead and put those in the comments below, as well as any other zombie games you're looking forward to. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.